Hey, imagine you've just finished wiring up a new campus or a sprawling outdoor event space, and you're staring at a wall-mount AP that promises enterprise-grade performance, but you're not sure if it's really worth the extra cash. I've been in that spot more times than I'd like to admit, and every time the biggest question is, will this device actually survive the weather, keep the crowd online, and stay out of my head for weeks on end? If you're feeling that same hesitation, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Cambium cnPilot e700 is pitched as an outdoor, wall-mount access point that can handle high-density Wi-Fi traffic without a controller. That sounds great on paper, but the real test is how it behaves when you mount it on a concrete pillar, expose it to a summer thunderstorm, and then watch 100 devices try to stream video at the same time. In this review I'll walk through the setup I'd use, the day-to-day quirks that show up, and who will actually get their money's worth versus who would be better off looking elsewhere. First off, the physical installation is pretty straightforward if you've done any kind of outdoor networking before. The unit comes with a wall mount bracket and a set of stainless steel screws, and the enclosure is rated IP67, meaning it should be dust-tight and able to survive temporary submersion. I tested it by mounting it on a brick wall in a parking lot that gets regular rain, and after a week of exposure the unit stayed dry inside and the LEDs were still readable. The built-in omnidirectional antenna with an 8 dB gain gives you a decent spread without having to aim a dish-style panel, which is handy when you're covering a wide open area like a campus quad or a sports field. Where the e700 starts to differentiate itself is in the software side. Cambium markets it as controllerless. The AP handles roaming, dynamic channel selection, and power adjustments on its own. In practice that means you can drop a handful of these units into a mesh and let them talk to each other without a central controller. I set up a 3-node mesh across a small business park, and the handoff between nodes was seamless for laptops moving from one side of the lot to the other. There was no noticeable drop in throughput, which is a big win for anyone who doesn't want to spend extra time configuring a separate controller appliance. That said, the controllerless model also comes with trade-offs. Because the AP decides on its own which channel to use, you lose the granular control you'd get from a full-blown wireless LAN controller that can coordinate channel plans across dozens of devices. In an environment where you have a lot of neighboring Wi-Fi networks, think a downtown apartment block, the AP might pick a channel that's technically the cleanest at boot, but then get crowded later in the day. I noticed a slight dip in performance during the evening rush hour when a nearby coffee shop's router started broadcasting on the same 5 GHz band. It wasn't a disaster, but if you need strict channel planning for a high-stakes event, you might still want a controller in the mix. Powering the e700 is another practical point. It supports both PoE+, 802.3 AT, and a dedicated AC input, which gives you flexibility if you're running it from an existing PoE switch or from a solar-backed power pole. In my test, I used PoE+ from a managed switch, and the AP powered up instantly, no extra injector needed. However, you do have to watch the power budget on your switch. A single 24-port PoE+ switch can only handle a limited number of high-power devices before you start throttling. If you plan a large mesh, make sure your switch can handle the load or budget a separate power injector for each node. Now let's talk about the actual Wi-Fi performance. The e700 is a Wave 2802.11 AC device, so you get MUMAMO on the 5 GHz band. In a side-by-side test with a consumer-grade outdoor AP, the e700 delivered about 30% higher aggregate throughput when I ran simultaneous video streams on 10 phones and 3 laptops. The gain isn't just raw speed. The MUMAMO capability means the AP can talk to multiple devices at once, reducing the latency spikes you sometimes see when a single-user AP juggles everyone sequentially. For a school campus where dozens of tablets are pulling down educational videos at the same time, that can be a noticeable difference. But the performance boost comes with a price tag that sits higher than most budget outdoor APs you'll find on Amazon. The e700 is aimed at enterprises, so the $350 plus price per unit reflects that positioning. If you're a small coffee shop looking for a single outdoor hotspot, you'll likely get better bang for your buck with a less robust model. On the flip side, the enterprise-grade hardware means the unit can run continuously in harsh climates without the kind of overheating you sometimes see in cheaper gear. I left it on a sunny rooftop for a full summer day, and